The 2025 PGA Tour season is almost over with the conclusion of the BMW Championship last week. We have one more tournament left. It's the Tour Championship. It used to be presented by Coca-Cola. I don't know if it's presented by Coca-Cola anymore, but we're heading out to East Lake at Atlanta, Georgia for the Tour Championship, and we're going to preview the course. We're going to take a look at every golfer in the field. There's 30 of them. And we are going to discuss which players are the best fit for this golf course. But before we do that, if you've enjoyed these golf previews, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment. I can't explain to you how much that helps us. So please do that. We're going to keep this going, at least talk Ryder Cup. After that, who knows? But we are getting into football season. We have tons of football content. Be sure to check that out as well. College football stuff rolling out. NFL coming soon. All right, let's jump right into it. And let's take a look at the course per usual. So, we're playing at East Lake, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the course profile. As you can see, driving accuracy matters a lot here. This is a bit different than what we saw last week at the BMW at Caves Valley. Got to be accurate off the tee. A lot. I mean, this is a huge gap in any given week. And let's also take a look here. Similar courses, TPC Deer Run. That's I forget what tournament is hosted there. I forget where what tournament that course hosts. But the Royal Portrush. These are a couple of the courses that are similar, but I mean, East Lake, very big advantage for accurate drivers of the golf ball. Much different than we saw last week, right? So, let's take a look here. These are the golfers that are just at a glance overall best course fit. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to look at the course real quick before we get to this. So, East Lake. It's going to play as a par 70 this week, which I think last year it played as a 71 and played very easy, if I remember correctly. Some pretty low scores, but we also had the modified scoring where first place started with like 10 under and then 9 under for second place coming into the tournament. We're doing away with that. That is just a blip in the history of the PGA Tour. Everybody starts at even, just like every other tournament. And now we're going to get into it. So, looking at hole 1 here, 510-yard par 4. You think, Dylan, this is a long hole. Why does it matter so much to be accurate off of the tee? Well, look at this fairway, guys. Like, this is... If you drive 310 here, you're dealing with this on the left, and you can't miss right because you're going to have to hit over or around some trees. This is not just, you can miss anywhere right, and honestly, the bunker is probably a better spot to be than over here in this area. But it's a tight tee shot, no less, and then we look up here to the green. Little bunker guarding it, can't be short left. Got to be very accurate with your tee shot here. We'll make our way on over to hole 2. It's a par 3. 200 yards, not much here. A lot you can, miss short, miss long. It's not a narrow green, but definitely the bigger miss is distance rather than accuracy. Guarded by 2 bunkers here. Not much noteworthy. And you know what? While we're here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I am going to pull up... I want to see how the holes played. Actually, we'll go 2 years ago because I think it played as a 70. Par 71. Par 70. Okay. Hole level stats. So, obviously, hole 1's very tough, and hole 2 surprisingly tough as well. Let's take a look at hole 3. Not much here. A pretty wide landing spot right here. This is a 295-yard drive, so guys might even take some off. Short par 4. Played under par 2 years ago, and you can see why. Par 4, 462 yards. Long way to go to get to the fairway. This is a 310-yard... Oh, whoa. This is a 310-yard drive, and you have this goofy little landing spot where you have bunker on the right, bunker on the left. Again, the accuracy for this shot is going to be very important off of the tee. Take a look at hole 5. Par 4, 450 yards. Again, these trees on the left, bunker on the left. Not a lot of room right. I think we're seeing the pattern here. accuracy off of the tee is going to be of the utmost importance as we are playing at East Lake. And we'll remember that when we're talking about golfers, right? Interesting hole here. This is the par 5, 527 yards, 300-yard drive here. Sets you up with 227 into the green, but the green surrounded by bunkers. Go long, bunker. Miss left, bunker. Miss right, bunker. Miss short, bunker. Unless you lay up in this little area here to play it safe, you're kind of in trouble. And if I had to guess, can we do a 3D? Still not really what I wanted. Because I wanted to see, I mean, this looks like a huge drop-off right here. So you could go long right. You know, I'm sure guys will go for it and roll off the back here. But you're going to have an interesting shot uphill into the green with that little, not false front. That's a false back. False back. I don't even know if that's a legitimate term. All right. This is another interesting one. You got tons of bunkers here that are kind of dictating how you're going to approach a hole off of the tee. You got bunkers like staggered at different distances that are making tee shots complicated. So this is a 325-yard drive that leaves you 170 in. So this is still a hole. Long hitters are going to have success here, but you just have to get into this spot right here. Right there is the dream spot. Miss left, you're in the bunker. You hit it too long, you're in a bunker. Very, very difficult tee shot here, and I think we're going to keep seeing more of this as we go on. Ooh, that's terrifying. This is terrifying. 285 yard gives you 106 in, so short hole. Wonder. Let's go. 377 yards to the front of the green. Might see guys go for it on the last day. Maybe the last day. But, I mean, tons of water to the left, water here. The pros don't have to worry about this, but if I was playing, this is something I would have to worry about. And then rounding out the front nine, we have a par 3 over water. Not too difficult of a hole. Let's take a look here. Par 5 played pretty easy. This hole played pretty tough 2 years ago. Tied for the toughest hole on the course 2 years ago. Hole 9, the par 3. Interesting. Wonder if there's some undulation up around that green that we can't see from this. Straightforward hole, 423 yards. This is a hole maybe the Bombers can take advantage of. It doesn't seem like there's much penalizing unless you get behind a tree. Nothing too crazy there. Another par 3. Again, nothing too crazy. Yeah, 10th hole played pretty easy last year. 11th didn't. Again, this seems pretty simple as well. 389-yard par 4. Bunker protecting the green. So that's going to deter players from trying to reach it. And a bunker up here to the left. But you could, I mean, most guys probably taking less than driver here, I would think, on a 389-yard par 4. Hole 13 is next. Par 4, 450 yards. Again, this opens up. So the back opens up. Keep an eye on some of these bombers that might put some low scores on the back, because the holes we've seen so far, a couple bunkers, but not as tight as the front. Now, this looks tight, but you again, miss right, no good, but you have a bailout area to the left. 300-yard shot here leaves you with 276 in. This is a hole that the longer hitters off of the tee might be able to take advantage of. Another par 3 over the water. How hard did this hole play a couple years ago? Yep. Par 3s are tough, baby. The par 3s are tough. Yeah, that's brutal. And here we are again with these bunkers that set up like kind of caddying, cornering in these players off of the tee. Very intimidating. Again, 305 yards right here. Miss right, you're in the bunker. You go too far and left, you're in the bunker. Kind of a nightmare scenario. You need to be really accurate off of the tee. And this is a goofy looking hole. Can't miss left, can't miss right. Again, we're seeing that these accurate... there's accuracy demanded off the tee. And what a fun closing hole. 320, can miss left, but can't afford to miss right. And then you're left with 262 into the pin. green surrounded by bunkers everywhere. The bunkers are so strategically placed at this course. You kind of love to see it. It's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun course. Okay, course fit. This is sorted by total strokes gained adjustment. So these are guys that are accurate off of the tee. You see approach matters just a little bit, putting not as much, and distance is average. So let's go. So people that have negative strokes gained putting adjustment or short game adjustment, you actually want, because putting isn't as important. This isn't a negative thing. This just means you're good at something that isn't needed at the course. That doesn't mean it's a negative. It just means it's not needed at the course. So we're looking for guys that have negative putting, negative short game in this exercise, but positive accuracy. So I look at a guy like, imagine that. Scotty Scheffler's in the mix. Sung J M is in the mix, even though he's awful in approach. Tommy Fleetwood, I have a feeling I'm going to be on him, which I'm terrified of. I love Russell Henley this week. Sneak peek, little alert there. Harris English, Maverick McNeely, Brian Harmon, surprisingly enough. Ludwig Aubert's not bad. Nick Taylor, I'll stay away from. Okay, so you have an idea of the profile that we are looking for. Let's take a look at these golfers. Now, this is sorted by salary decreasing at DraftKings, and we have two golfers in the 10,000 and up range. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler's in the 14K range. Rory McIlroy is another option. He's at 11,300, and let's take a look at his profile and the form that he's been in. He doesn't have the accuracy, right? And that's an issue for me personally. And what we're going to do, we're going to X out Caves Valley. We are going to go to East Lake. Guys played well here, even though he is not a fit. How accurate has he been off the tee? It's really lacked this year outside of the U.S. Open. So the course history, I like. He's in great form. He's had, outside of the RBC, every tournament he's had this year, he's had positive strokes gained. Good with the putter, which is normally an issue. Average around the green. Off the tee, good. He has the distance. I mean, I would be going Scheffler over Rory. I think it's a situation where you diversify, right? You take some Scott. You're not going to be able to get Scotty and Rory and build a good lineup, but take some Scotty with cheaper guys, take some Rory, you get some mid-tier guys in there. It's tough with 30 golfers because you need to find a way to diversify your lineups. And it's just tough when you're picking 6 golfers and there's only 30 in the field. But we move along. Getting into the 9,000 range. Oh, wait a second. Sorry, we have one more 10,000 golfer. That's Ludwig Aubert, who I like. He's accurate off of the tee. A couple of good finishes, and as you can see, strokes gained in every asset of his game going back to the Genesis in July 13th of 2025. Good stuff here. Accurate off of the tee. Hasn't been less accurate than the field in his last 4 events. This is a guy that's hot, which is important. He's played good golf. And then let's see. Last year he finished 16th. He's has 4 rounds at East Lake. So I don't hate Aubert either. That's a very viable option if you're looking for a player to fill out that 10K range. All 3 of these guys I approve of. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, this is what I like to see. Okay. Tommy Fleetwood. 9.9K. And I'm going to like him. I'm going to like Fleetwood, and it's going to kill me. He 3 great rounds. Didn't play great at the Genesis in mid-July, but he has played great golf since July 20th in 3 tournaments. Good history here. He's played well at this course. 1 poor putting performance, but let's go look at 2019. Can I see his 2019 profile? Yeah, his putting was worse, as you can see. So his putting's gotten better since 2019 when he posted negative strokes gained at East Lake. I love Tommy Fleetwood. Love Tommy Fleetwood for this week, and I love this guy at 9.6K. Russell Henley, all around good golfer. Doesn't have the driving distance, but has everything else. Didn't play Oh, that was 2019 still, sorry. Good form right here. Positive strokes gained in his last 6 events. The only negative strokes gained we see off the tee at the US Open and putting at the Memorial. So, he's in good form, very accurate off of the tee, and has good course history here. We're looking at 12th, tied for 3rd, tied for 14th, tied for 4th. Has played very well historically at East Lake, and I think this is a very viable option. So far, we haven't seen a guy we don't like. Viktor Hovland's going to be... his course history is decent. He's won here 2 years ago. Around the green is his weakness, if you even want to call it that. But he's been average around the green here historically, so I don't know if that's going to hold him back. More accurate than average off of the tee. Putting average, driving distance average. Not in the best form, so maybe... I don't want to say stay away from Viktor Hovland, but I'm not going to be eager to put him into lineups, is what I will say. And then you look at Justin Thomas, a guy who's played well here before. I mean, the win has eluded him, but that is a lot of green. And some could argue he's playing some of the best golf of his life. He can finally putt. Didn't show too much at the BMW, but his putting has gotten a lot better than years past. Don't like the driving accuracy numbers. I think that's a huge problem. But you can justify taking Justin Thomas just by course history alone and the fact that he's putting better. I would take Justin Thomas over Viktor Hovland this week if you're looking for a golfer in that 9K range. That's probably what I would do. All right. We will... can't lay... Let's take a look at Sam Burns. Putting off the charts per normal. Not in the best form. Does have a T4. Finished T4 last week. Got hot. Hot last week. Accurate with the driver. Decent finishes. You got to keep in mind some of these are also skewed because only 30 golfers play at East Lake. That's very important to remember. Sam Burns, stay away, probably. In the 8K range, Morikawa has been an awful putter this year. As seen at the BMW, as seen at the FedEx, and as seen at the Genesis, missed the cut there. I'm going to stay away from Morikawa, and I'm going to continue fading Morikawa into the offseason, right? Into the offseason, just continue fading Morikawa. JJ Spawn, all around good golfers, had a good year. Obviously won the US Open, good finish at the St. Jude. A bit inconsistent in his player profile here, especially with accuracy in the last 5 or 6 starts, and has never played here before, so I'm going to stay away from JJ Spawn. Let's pick and choose our spots here. Cameron Young, I'm not interested in. Ben Griffin, I'm not interested in. Sepp Straka's interesting. Accurate, good putter. Started off the year really hot. It kind of fizzled out. T17 at the FedEx. Did he sit out the BMW? He must have sat out. I didn't know it. Very accurate off of the tee. Couple finishes here. T27's not great, but T7 is. Probably staying away from Sepp Straka as well because there is a golfer I like in this range, and that's Keegan Bradley. Gearing up for a Ryder Cup. Captainship, possibly appearance. Rory had his fair share of things to say about that whole situation. I say, pipe down, Rory. Settle down. Not in great form, but accurate off the tee. Strong golfer all around. In decent form here. T21 last year, but does have a top 10. T11, T12. Has played well here, as you can see by his strokes gain numbers. Not too surprising. I like Keegan at this 7K range if you're going to take somebody. I also like this guy. Corey Connors, accurate off the tee. Did not have a good week last week or the week before, but the accuracy numbers are there. If you want a cheap option, I think Corey Connors is fine at this lower 7K range. And our guy, Harry Hall. Not very accurate off the tee, but the guy puts the lights out of the ball. He chips the lights out of the ball. And as you can see, I mean, these putting numbers. Beautiful. Beautiful. These total numbers. Beautiful. And has never played here, so I think you're getting a discount on a really good golfer. Let me take one more drink. And then we'll get into the 6K range. A couple of interesting options here. Justin Rose. Average golfer all around, very well-rounded. Won the FedEx. Tied for 30th. Old guy, but we know what he's capable of. We know what he's capable of. He hasn't played at East Lake since 2019, but he has a good history here, right? He's very accurate off of the tee. He does everything well. And when you get into this 6K range, that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for a guy, if you want to go Scotty Rose, you just need someone with a high floor. And I think Justin Rose brings that. Akshay makes a hole-in-one to get in this. Chris Gotterup burned us last week. He's not a good course fit. Brian Harmon was an interesting option, though, because he is accurate off the tee. He's not very far. It almost feels like you're getting a discount, worse putting Russell Henley at this price. Some good finishes. 5 straight tournaments with positive strokes gained and decent-ish course history. Positive strokes gained every tournament. I think Brian Harmon's a very good option. At some of the cheapest options you can get here. And let's take a look lastly at Sung J M. Accuracy, putting, around the green, all stellar. There's no surprise here. Struggles in approach. Not in form, but has played well here before. And for what? The 3rd lowest price? Very good option at 6.2K. All right, so we went through most of these golfers. I want to highlight a few, and we're going to go play or pass. And we'll start at the top. Scotty, play. Rory, play. Aubert, play. Fleetwood, play. Henley, play. Hovland, pass. Thomas, play. Burns, pass. Morikawa, pass. I'm passing on the whole 8K range. Sepp Straka, pass. Keegan Bradley, play. Corey Connors, play. Harry Hall, play. Justin Rose, play. Brian Harmon, big time play. Sung J M, play. So, Gotterup, pass. Let's take a look real quick. I just want to take a look at the overall ceiling floor numbers from these guys because this is very telling. Let's go East Lake the last 5 years. Has anybody gained 5 or more total strokes? Russell Henley, Keegan Bradley, Colin Morikawa, surprisingly, and Victor Hovland, but our guy Sung J M right here too. You notice all of these guys except for Keegan Bradley have relatively high floors as well. Russell, 62.5% of times he's played at this course, he's had strokes gained over 0. Positive strokes gained, essentially. Rory, high floor here. Surprisingly enough, Rory's a guy that has a high ceiling normally and has not at East Lake in the last 5 years, which is interesting. Are there any other stats we want to check off here? Maybe off the tee. We'll go all courses. All records. Driving accuracy. This is why I like Corey Connors. 4th in driving accuracy in the field. 3rd in strokes gained off the tee driving. 12th in driving distance, which is average. It's not like he's sacrificing a great amount of distance for accuracy off of the tee. Victor Hovland, you see here. Scotty Scheffler, no surprise. Aubert. And then you get these Novak, Griffin, McNeely, Bridgman, all guys I'm not super thrilled to take. Rory, low in the accuracy, but number 1 in strokes gained off the tee and number 2 in driving distance. Number 2 probably to Gotterup? Yep, number 2 to Gotterup. And then let's take a look. What's miscellaneous metrics? Apex? Nah, we don't really worry about that. Harry's great in the AM. Scotty's good in the PM. All right. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. A shorter one because there's only 30 golfers this week. Thank you for watching. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, even if it's hate comments. It helps us a lot. And let me know if there's anything that you would like to see differently as we wrap up the PGA Tour season. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out our college football content that is already posted, and NFL content is coming soon. Bye-bye.